Hello, what's going on, everyone? Welcome to Frank Analysis. I'm your host, Franco. I'm going to give you guys my take on the heated exchange between the State Department and the media on evidence of Russia fabricating attacks on Ukraine. This has been talked about on other shows, but I wanted to give you guys my take and tell you guys two lessons I think that you guys can learn from this. It's also a hilarious exchange. So I'm really looking forward to hearing what your thoughts are. I can put what some of your comments are on the exchange on the screen if I think that they're great. Um, and what I think this exchange shows is a pattern that we see over and over again, except I think a lot of people are catching on onto it now more than before, because this is something that's been done for decades upon decades upon decades, in which we hear authority figures just repeat talking points. They tell us it comes from classified sources. They can't reveal it. They can't show us the complete evidence. But it's not often challenged with questions of, okay, can we see the evidence though? Can we see the evidence? Because then the evidence may not be strong enough, or it might not even exist. And so they can't manufacture our consent to do the things that these corporations and our government want to do, which is to intervene in other countries, take their resources. What's going on, Ronwell, Terry Conley? Thank you very much for stopping by. But let me give you some background on this guy, Ned Price, who was being challenged. So Ned Price, this is coming at us from an article from Salon in February 2017, all the way back when it was still fresh that Donald Trump was a president. So the National Security Council spokesman quits the CIA. Ned Price used to be in the CIA. He used to be part of intelligence. And he writes an op-ed in the Washington Post for why he left. So despite working proudly for Republican and Democratic presidents, I reluctantly concluded that I cannot in good faith serve this administration as an intelligence professional, Price wrote in an op-ed for the Washington Post. This was not a decision I made lightly. I sought out the CIA as a college student, convinced that it was the ideal place to serve my country and put an otherwise abstract international relations degree to use. I wasn't disappointed. It wouldn't surprise me if Ned Price had, while he was in college, he already received a lot of funding and help from intelligence, just similar to Pete Buttigieg and similar to other people in high positions of intelligence. Like when they went to college, they were already working with the CIA. Like they were already receiving training. Their ideology was already being formed because of the CIA's involvement in their education. Then they go on to work in think tanks, similar to Sagar and Jetty, working for neocon think tanks. So then Price explained that he has been troubled by a number of Trump's actions. These included publicly denigrating the intelligence community's conclusion that Russia was responsible for hacking the 2016 presidential election, which still no evidence exists to show that they did. All we've seen is that they were involved in dispersing some online memes, which we can't conclude whether that shaped the election or not. Like, could memes be a significant piece to influencing the election results? There's no studies that show whether they are significant or not in doing so. His politicized speech at the CIA memorial and appointing the chief strategist Steve Bannon to the National Security Council. So straight up, this guy, Ned Price or Edward Price, has been a Russiagator. What's going on, Prop and Tina? It's great to have you on here. So let's go ahead and watch this.
We have previously noted our strong concerns regarding Russian disinformation and the likelihood that Moscow might seek to create a false flag operation to initiate military activity. Now, we can say that the United States has information that Russia is planning to stage fabricated attacks by Ukrainian military or intelligence forces as a pretext for a further invasion of Ukraine. One possible option the Russians are considering, and which we made public today.
By the way, guys, I just want to remind you all that I dive deep into the Russia-Ukraine situation with Mark Sloboda on Friday last week. So I highly recommend for you guys to check out that interview. I was also on the Combo Couch as a co-host, as a guest co-host with Pasta. We got to talk about it, but some issue occurred and our mics were muted. I gave my take, but I wanted to talk about it here on the show and also hear some reactions from you guys. I want to know what you guys think about this.
Involves the production of a propaganda video, a video with graphic scenes of false explosions, depicting corpses, crisis actors pretending to be mourners, and images of destroyed locations or military equipment, entirely fabricated by Russian intelligence. To be clear, the production of this propaganda video is one of a number of options that the Russian government is developing as a fake pretext to initiate and potentially justify military aggression against Ukraine. We don't know if Russia will necessarily use this or another option in the coming days. We are publicizing it now, however, in order to lay bare the extent of Russia's destabilizing actions towards Ukraine.
Isn't there decades worth of evidence of the U.S. doing exactly the thing that Mr. Price is claiming that Russia is doing? Like decades upon decades of the U.S. fabricating videos, fabricating stories. Oh, the baby's in the incubators. Oh, weapons of mass destruction. Oh, he's gassing his own people. He's a brutal dictator. But here they're claiming their enemy is doing that to manufacture the U.S. citizens' consent.
And to dissuade Russia from continuing this dangerous campaign and ultimately launching a military attack.
Exactly, prop.
Russia has signaled it's willing to continue diplomatic talks as a means to de-escalate, but actions such as these suggest otherwise. We will continue to diligently work together with our allies and partners to expose Russian disinformation and other hybrid tactics used against Ukraine. We continue to work to prevent any effort Moscow might make to justify further military action in Ukraine. We again urge Russia to stop its destructive and destabilizing disinformation campaign, to de-escalate tensions, and to engage in diplomacy and dialogue for a peaceful solution. Thank you.
So, peaceful solution, what would that entail? Because when I see the mainstream media talking about what's going on in Russia and Ukraine, I hear the hosts and I hear Antony Blinken talking about how they should impose sanctions on that country. So sanctions are not peaceful. If you're going to be starving the citizens, it's not going to hurt the people at the top. You're killing them slowly. So anyone who argues that sanctions are more of a humanitarian way to deal with a problem with another country is arguing for killing people. Killing people is wrong either way.
Okay, well, that's quite a mouthful there. So you said actions such as these suggest otherwise, suggest meaning they suggest they're not interested in talks and they're going to go ahead with some kind of what action are you talking about?
One, the actions I've just pointed to. The fact that Russia continues to engage in disinformation campaigns.
You made
like
an
the US?
allegation that they might do that. Have they actually done it?
What we know, Matt, is what I've just said, that they have engaged in this activity, in
engaged
this
in what?
planning
Hold on a
activity.
second. What
But
activity?
let me
What
because
activity?
obviously this is not the first time we've made these reports public. You'll remember that just a few weeks ago.
I'm sorry, made what report public?
If you'll let me finish, I will
Okay.
tell you what report we made
Okay.
public. We told you a few weeks ago that we have information indicating Russia also has already prepositioned a group of operatives to conduct a false flag operation in eastern Ukraine. So that, Matt, to your question, is an action that Russia has already
Well,
taken.
It's an action that you say that they have taken, but you have shown no evidence to confirm that.
Exactly.
And I'm going to get to
Exactly.
the next question here, which is, what is the evidence that they, I mean, this is like crisis actors, really? This is like Alex Jones territory you're getting into now. What evidence do you have to support the idea that there is some propaganda film in the making?
Matt, this is derived from information known to the U.S. government, intelligence information that we have declassified. I think you
Well,
know
okay, well, where is it? Where is this information?
it is intelligence information that we have declassified.
Well, where is it?
He's asking him where it is, but he's not telling him where it is. He's telling him what it is. He's like, it's intelligence information. It's information from intelligence. Okay, but where is it? Can you show it to us? What this is showing is that they're not going to release information that they call classified. Because again, it either lacks enough substance or it probably doesn't even exist. How do we know if it exists if they don't show it to us? And so what this guy here, Ned Price, has to do is dance around what this journalist, Matt Lee, was asking him to do. And you can do this with anything. Like in when you debate somebody, especially when it comes to the Rona stuff, and when it comes to foreign policy, when they just start giving you talking points, made up statistics, or saying, oh, there's a video that shows this, or blah blah blah, or oh, there's a study. But okay, show me the study, show me the video, show me the evidence. Most of the time, these people won't show it because they're just repeating talking points that they heard other people say, whether it be intelligence, the State Department, corporate media.
Where's the declassified information?
I just delivered it.
No, you made a series of allegations and statements.
Would you like us to
You
print out
delivered
the
the
top part?
talking
Because you will
points.
see
You
a
didn't
transcript
deliver
of
the
this
actual
briefing that you can print out for
documentation. You didn't
yourself.
deliver the actual
Ned,
evidence.
that's you saying it. That's not evidence. I'm sorry.
What would you like, Matt?
I would like to see some proof that you you can show that
Matt, you have
that shows
you-
that
you-
shows that the Russians are doing this. Ned, I've been doing this for a long
I
time.
know, that was my point.
As
You have been doing this for quite a while. You know
I
that
have.
when we declassify intelligence
That's right,
information,
and I
we
remember
do so in a
WMDs in
means
Iraq.
we do
And
so
I
with an
remember
eye to
that
protecting
Kabul
sources and
is
methods.
not going to fall. I remember a lot of things. So where is the declassified information other than you coming out here and saying?
Going on Atris.
Matt, I'm sorry you don't like the format, but we have
It's not the
declassified.
format, it's the content.
I'm sorry you don't like the content. I'm sorry
It's
you.
not that I
I'm
don't
sorry
like
you
it,
are
we're
doubting
just-
the information that is in the possession of the U.S. government.
No,
What I'm telling you is that this is information that's available to us. We are making it available to you in order
You're
for a
not
couple
making it
reasons.
available
One
to us.
is to attempt to deter the Russians from going ahead with this activity. Two, in the event we're not able to do that, in the event the Russians do go ahead with this, to make it clear as day, to lay bare the fact that this has always been an attempt on the part of the Russian Federation to fabricate a pretext.
Yeah, but you don't have any.
He doesn't have any evidence that they're doing it now. So, I mean, that's what he's asking for now. And he's just giving him, oh, throughout history, they've done such and such. Okay, but are they doing that right now? There's been several instances in history in which the U.S. has manufactured consent, done the exact same thing that you're doing right now, in which just giving talking points, saying that experts are saying that there's weapons of mass destruction. Is there evidence, though, that there is? Or is there just somebody saying that? Because that's exactly what's happening here. Is there evidence that such and such leader in such and such country in the global south is gassing his own people? Or are you just saying that? And then they have to respond with, are you questioning U.S. authorities? Are you questioning the government? This right here, prime example of an appeal to authority logical fallacy. It's great that more people, more journalists are becoming more aware of that and pointing it out.
Any evidence to back it up other than what you're saying. It's like you're saying, we think we have information the Russians may do this, but you won't tell us what the information is. And then when you're asked,
that is the idea behind deterrence, Matt. That is the
when
idea
you're
behind
asked-
deterrence.
and when
It
you're
is our
asked-
hope that the
and when
Russians
you're
don't
asked
go
what the
forward with
information
this.
is, you say, I just gave it to you. But that's not what.
You seem not
That's
to
not the way it
understand.
works.
You seem not.
Not only is there a lack of evidence, but he's also saying that they might do something. So trying to do something preemptively, even though they haven't done anything yet. So kill them because we think that they're going to kill us? Sounds like a cop. Like when they kill unarmed people because they think that unarmed person is going to hurt them.
Not to
No,
understand the
Ned,
idea
you
of
don't
deterrence.
understand.
We are
You
trying
seem
to
not to
deter
understand the
the
idea
Russians
of-
from moving forward with this type of activity. That is why we are making it public today. If the Russians don't go forward with this, that is not ipso facto an indication that they never had plans to do so.
But then it's unprovable. I mean, my God, what is the evidence that you have that suggests that the Russians are even planning this?
Matt,
I mean, I'm not
you-
saying that they're not, but you just come out and say this and expect us just to believe it.
Yeah, we can't just
without
blindly
showing
believe
a
it.
shred of evidence that it's actually true. Other than when I ask, or when anyone else asks, what's the information? You said, well, I just gave it to you, which was just you making a statement.
Matt, you said yourself, you've been in this business for quite a long time. You know that when we make information, intelligence information public, we do so in a way that protects sensitive sources and methods. You also know
Sensitive
that
sources, that's
we
just
do so, we
bullshit.
declassify information only when we're confident in that information.
Ned, you haven't
If
made
you
any
doubt the credibility of the U.S.
See?
government, of the British government, of other governments, and want to
He's strawmanning.
find solace in information that the Russians are
Solace?
putting out, that is for you to do.
I'm not asking what the Russian government is putting out, and
John.
what is it supposed to be?
This is interesting because guys, isn't the press usually like handpicked, and these are all from corporate outlets. I mean, the AP has tried to manufacture consent about elections in other countries, like in Bolivia, like saying that the Bolivian president Evo Morales was participating in some kind of rigging of that election. But then later on, more evidence revealed that that wasn't the case. And at the time, there wasn't even sufficient evidence to indicate that there was any rigging in Evo Morales' party's part. So it's interesting to me how if it's true that they handpick who gets to be in these press conferences, is this just Matt Lee all of a sudden just gaining some critical thinking and he's now questioning things more? Let me know what you guys think. What's going on, Mona?
Video because U.S. officials are describing very specific scenes, but do they actually have a video?
The fact that we are able to go into such great detail, obviously I'm not going to spell out what is in our possession, but I will leave it to you. I will leave that to your judgment.
Oh, Delbert, Matt
There
Lee's
are
always
no
on the
facts
ball.
that
Okay,
you
I'll look
spelled
into
out.
him more. I'm not too familiar with
This
his
was
work.
intended to come out in the coming days?
We've said, Ben, for some time now that the Russians have positioned forces, they have undertaken preparations, that if Putin decides to move forward with an invasion, they're
boogeyman
positioned to do
Putin.
so. They are
Specifically
poised to do
said
so.
in the coming days.
One last thing. Like, I'm not buying into Russian propaganda, but I'm also not going to buy into
Exactly.
I'm not asking you
an
to-
accusation. Yes, you are. You're saying the proof is that I just said it. So let me just appeal to you on behalf of all of us, and the American people, and the people of the world, and the Russian people, and the Ukrainian people. One piece of evidence to suggest that the Russians are planning to use crisis actors to stage a false mass casualty event to use as a pretext. Just one piece, okay? And not you or Kirby or Jen or John Feiner or Jake saying this is what is so. And then you turning around and saying, well, because we said it, it's a fact.
So let
Just
me
one
let-
piece of
let me make-
piece of verifiable evidence.
Let me make a couple broad points, and I acknowledge this will probably be unsatisfactory to you in the moment. But here's what I think you know, what I certainly know, what everyone here knows. There are 100,000 Russian troops encircling Ukraine right now, approaching Ukraine's borders, close to the borders. There are thousands of Russian troops, with the potential for some 30,000 Russian troops to stream in to Belarus. All of these forces are positioned, could well be positioned, if Putin makes that decision, to engage on Ukraine in a coordinated assault. We also know that the Russians have resorted to these tactics in the past, have developed a remarkably similar playbook in 2014, amassed troops, engaged in 2014, it is a historical fact, engaged in disinformation and propaganda
dear.
to paint
This
Ukraine as
guy's
the
the
aggressor,
male Jen Psaki.
fabricated a pretext for an invasion.
Pretty much, man.
And went in. So
repeaters
with
of
what we know from 8 years
government
ago,
corporate
with
talking
what we
points.
have seen, you and I both have seen, everyone has seen, with what we have heard 8 years ago, in the ensuing 8 years,
No evidence
and in
to
recent
show,
weeks,
right.
it seems to me that it should not be outlandish that the Russians may be engaging in this
okay, fine,
activity
but not
again.
being outlandish doesn't mean that you have any proof that it's
Exactly, man. He
happening.
just keeps
Or being
dancing
planned.
around.
The
Hold
second
on,
point-
Ned, you can't just, all of that may very well be true, probably is true, okay? But it
Right,
doesn't
exactly.
provide any evidence of what you're alleging now, which is that they're planning this fake mass casualty event with quote-unquote crisis actors, which is something that, you know, in the U.S., we rarely hear outside of the kind of...
Right. Like, asking for evidence isn't calling them a liar. It's putting the burden on them to further back up their claims. Otherwise, we can't just blindly accept what they're saying as true. Like, we're not going to just blindly accept what people tell us to do only for us to take some sort of action and hurt people, right? Let me take some comments here. Yeah, Mona, a lot of people covered it. I covered it with Pasta also, but we didn't get to give like our full thoughts on it because we had a guest waiting for us. I wanted to hear what your thoughts are. Everyone here, I wanted to hear everyone's thoughts on this. I wanted to give my take. I think that there's two things that we can learn from this that I'm gonna say at the end. But yeah, I'm glad that a lot of people are talking about this and calling this out, and this is damn well like hilarious.
you know, nutty conspiracy theory crowd.
Well, to be clear, we're not alleging what the United States is doing. This is information available to us,
No,
what the
but
Russians
that's-
are up to. I understand your point, but I just want to...
You do, because I mean, you're treading into some serious waters here, and if you can't provide any evidence
Yeah.
other than, well, I said so, and so it's a fact, that's a problem.
Matt, there's a second point. This is derived from intelligence. Intelligence in which we have confidence.
Oh my God, you
in which
can't
we have
question
confidence.
intelligence.
Otherwise,
Confidence you
if it's
have
coming
in-
from
otherwise,
intelligence,
otherwise, we would not be making it public in the way we are. But here's the other point.
You dare to question
intelligence
authority?
and evidence. These are two separate things. It is
Yeah,
no.
but you're saying it's a fact, and that you have proof, and then you can't offer any proof, and to show that it's fact. I'll drop it, but I think we should move on.
Yeah.
All right. So yeah, real quick, guys. I'm just gonna tell you guys the two things we can all take away from this, and I'll look at some more of your comments. Number one, all you got to do when someone's just repeating a bunch of talking points, whether you're in a panel or in a debate, or if you're ever listening to somebody just giving talking points out, like in a press conference or whatever, you have the opportunity. It's really simple to just keep asking questions, ask for evidence, right? Because you can't just blindly accept everything that they say. You always got to ask for evidence. If they don't have it, they're usually going to dance around like this. If they do have it, they'll provide it. Or they'll say, yeah, I'll show it to you later. And then they will show it to you later. But if they don't show it to you later, then they were most likely just dancing around because they don't have it. It's really, really simple. The second lesson to learn from this is to understand that if you are on the principle that what cops do in preemptively shooting somebody down because they think that they are a threat, they think that they might act out violently because they meet a certain profile, which is horrible, then what we see is that the U.S. State Department and our intelligence behave just like cops. They preemptively want to strike at a country, even though they all they have is just speculations that the country may do something. And what they say the country may do may not even affect Americans here in the US. So we should respect other people's sovereignty, and we shouldn't strike a country preemptively just because we think they might do something. At the end of the day, your preemptive strike may end up killing people that otherwise wouldn't have been killed. Under Barack Obama, there's a 90% rate of innocent civilians that were killed with his drone strikes. So I just wanted you guys to take those two lessons away from this. Number one, it's really simple to call out their BS by asking for evidence. And number two, the US State Department behaves like cops. Mad Marxist, what's up? Have you seen this article stating that Putin is delaying contact with aliens because of his push for war with Ukraine? Absolutely insane. I have not seen that. That sounds really crazy. Trying to tie aliens into this. Caden Rodriguez says, pushback like this is needed. Fast more often. We'll see a lot more of these State Department talking heads quit their job. I don't know. Usually people like this, they fail upward. Or maybe they'll get somebody more competent, someone who's better at BSing or dismissing people. Like Biden, he sometimes is good at dismissing people. Like he just gets angry at them and he's like, "Get them away from here, that son of a bitch." Ninetales, I agree, that was epic. Propaganda Live says it's so weird how many different battlefields there is. In one hand, Putin has the same agenda as the USA, such as the Great Reset, but at the same time, they fight over narrative and power. Great point. That's why Matt Lee brought up a great point when he was questioning Ned. What was his last name again? Ned Price. He said, I'm not going to just blindly accept Russian propaganda, but I'm also not going to blindly accept whatever you guys are saying either. Like, I need to see evidence at the end of the day. And yeah, the US and Russia and China are all together in the Great Reset and the World Economic Forum. President Xi Jinping was praising Klaus Schwab, the chair of the World Economic Forum. Definitely something to take into account and look into even further. You know, what is this all about? They're acting as enemies here, but when it comes to the Great Reset, it seems like they're all in agreement to further advance capitalism. Tangled up in blah. Macron, the president of France, is meeting with Putin again. The whole thing is unraveling. Europe needs energy and also does not want a war. And Russia's envoy was talking about the other day about how the U.S. needs to stop trying to whip up hysteria. And Ukraine's President Zelensky was also talking about how the U.S. needs to chill out with all the instigation and pushing for war with Russia and Ukraine. But yeah, guys, I will leave it there. Thank you guys very much for stopping by. You guys are not alone, and I know you'll stay informed. Stay tuned for some great panel discussions next week, guys. It's going to be great.